But thank you so much for coming, everyone. It really means a lot to have you here. I first ran, as some of you may know, in 2016 after moving back home after 14 years out on the West Coast, grad school, undergrad, grad school. There was a major sense of urgency as the closure of the power plants was looming over the town. And the town had kind of prepared for it, but everything they had done had sat on the shelf for over a decade. And I actually had the conversation with Jameson Souza, and he said, you need to run for office. It's the only way that you're gonna have a huge impact. I'm like, I can't do that. And so here I am, and it honestly was the best decision I've ever made. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything has been worth it. Our board in 2016, when I was elected, we took major strides to prepare for the closure of the power plants. We hired our very first full-time town planner, almost like a quarterback for a football team. You can't have a football team without a quarterback, just like you cannot provide economic development plans to move the town forward without a planner. We developed the master plan, which was a very extensive 18-month process. We developed the master plan with the planner and a consultant to prepare for the closure of the plants and other things. We had investors beginning to be interested. We had an investor come and buy Wilbur School. We had several examples, but the hotel came. We would not have the hotel right now if it weren't for our town planner. Her first week of hire, she brought in $1.2 million worth of grants because of the requirements needed from the DOT. So that hotel would not exist without her. My opponent had a vendetta because she was not, I don't know how to put it nicely, but she was not putting up with the nonsense down at the neighborhoods in Brayton Point. And they didn't like that, so they found someone to elect, who's my opponent now, Alan Smith, and their first order of business was to get rid of our town planner and to get rid of our long-standing police chief, Chief McNeil. First week of office, that's what he did. And I knew that was coming, and a lot of the stuff that over the 5 years that I was in office, was completely unraveled, even just in that 1 week, never mind the past 3 years. The past 3 years have completely unraveled the work that we put forth, my board, my former board, Steve Bonas and David Barabee, laid forth the groundwork to really start to bring in the revenue to offset the major tax burden that we had due to loss of these power plants. And as you can see, the recent tax bill that most of you have received went up 16%. That is the highest raise in taxes since the closure, which was considered our rock bottom in 2019, the closure of Brayton Point. That should not happen. That should not have happened, and you can't blame the school. It was not all the school, the new middle school. My opponent will continue to blame the school because it's easy, but I've done the math. It's not because of the school. It's because we don't have any revenue coming in because of all of the blockades that my opponent has put up over the past 3 years. What else? So many staff, they got rid of the planner, they got rid of the police chief, they put in their friend as a police chief. We were paying 2 police chief salaries for over a year. We had many staff quit, our building inspector quit, we had other staff members quit, and I resigned as well, as most of you already know, because I couldn't ethically sit next to the newly elected Alan Smith and also the former elected Lon Lawless, knowing that they were about to do these things, and I knew what they were about to do because I knew what was going on behind closed doors. So ethically, I wanted no part of that. It's been really bad for the town, and I knew that by resigning and stepping down, as a selectman, you're very limited as to what you can say to the public. And so I couldn't defend the town. There wasn't much I could say because you have to adhere to certain guidelines. So I stepped down so that I could fight from the outside because my vote wouldn't have mattered on the board anyway. And so now that the 3 years has gone by and Alan's term is up, I'm running again to fix what they have unraveled over the past 3 years. I'm very concerned. My opponent also likes to say that he is fiscally conservative, which sounds great, but the problem with that is the town is already at bare bones with their operation. And he's cut staff, people have quit. We have volunteers doing certain things that don't have the expertise that they should have. And we cannot cut away out of this issue. So for example, if we were to cut the entire police department, your taxes still would go up. So just to put that in perspective, over the past 3 years, there has been a 70% decline in the economic growth in the town. That is why your taxes have gone up. They have blocked all economic development. They even affected the owner of Wilbur School, said, I'm done with this. He left, he sold the building. So that has been delayed 3 years. Brayton Point, the development with Prysmian coming in, that has been delayed about 2 years. The owners are super frustrated. Prysmian is very frustrated. That could have been done. They've now, as of last month, have appealed again a decision made by the Department of Environmental Protection, DEP. They have appealed another decision so that Prysmian still can't get their permit in order to close the deal on the land purchase, which will delay the revenue of taxes another potential year. So we just can't afford to lose what we had the President of the United States come here, we're on the map, and we just can't afford to lose the momentum that we had going back when I was in office. It really breaks my heart to see it happen, and that's part of why I'm running again. You know, and a lot of people say, why do you want to do this, Holly? Why are you putting yourself through this? Well, it's definitely not for my health. You know, it's something I very deeply care about this community, and I don't want to move away. I want to create a great community again and to create a place where our seniors, for example, can afford to stay and want to stay. You know, a lot of people don't want to stay because of what's been transpiring over the past 3 years. And so, you know, I think right now it's time to shift gears and to continue to rebuild what we've lost and to move the town forward in the right direction again. Gonna get back on track, hence my slogan. So thank you all so much. If you have any questions, reach out. I'm an open door, so open door policy, and we can all stay in touch and feel free to reach out anytime. So I respectfully ask for your vote on April 8th for me for Sanford. Thank you.